right now, let's hop into the next part of service.
I think we already have like 10 people sign up for baptisms next Sunday, so always excited about that. If you've never been baptized, I want to encourage you to get baptized. If you have never done that, you still have time. We're not doing it till next Sunday, so you can sign up on our website. Man, it is good to see you guys today. We are in a series right now entitled Cultivate. And we began this last week, and it's kind of this farming theme. And last week we talked about generosity, cultivating generosity. The word cultivate means to prepare for use or to get ready for use. And so last Sunday we talked about this idea of generosity. And that as Christians, really our number one trait or one of our top traits should be generosity. We are not here just to live lives for ourselves. We're to make a difference in the lives of other people and to be generous with our time, with our resources, with our gifts and our talents. Everything that we have is a gift from God, and we're to use that to be a blessing to other people and to help others that might need help. So generosity is vital. Today we're going to talk about leadership and cultivating leadership. Listen, you are not here by accident, meaning on this earth. You're not alive by accident. God created you for a reason. You have a unique purpose. You have a unique design. We're finding out through science that we even have unique cells and DNA. There's nobody else like you. God created you and put you here for a reason. You have a purpose. We're not created to just exist. We're created to live. We're created to make a difference, not just soak up the atmosphere, but we're here to do something. We have a mission. God has a plan for us. And really, it is our responsibility to figure out why God put us here and to not get caught up in all of the other things that distract us in this life, but to be laser focused on why am I here, why has God put me here, and what is God's plan for my life. Pablo Picasso said the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. We're created for purpose. God has a unique plan and a unique design for each of us. And think about this. Think about people that have made a difference in your life. What if they didn't exist? What if they didn't help you? What if they didn't bless you? What if they weren't there for you? How different would your life be? So think of yourself. What if you do not do your part? What if you do not use your unique gifts and talents and abilities that God has designed you with? What if you do not use those to bless other people and to serve other people? What are they missing out on? And what difference could you make if you actually moved to the front and decided that, you know what, I'm not just going to exist in this life, I'm going to live. And I'm not just going to be here just to take up space, I'm going to be here to make a difference. I don't know about you, but I don't want to waste my life. I don't. I don't want to waste it. I want it to mean something. I want to do something, and I want to make a difference in the lives of other people and in our world, because God knows our world needs as much help as possible, right? For the next 2 weeks, we're going to look and focus on the idea of the uniqueness of your gifts. Today, we're going to talk about leadership. And there are many of you here that should be leaders, and for whatever reason, you're riding the pine. You're sitting on the bench, and I don't know why. Next week, Pastor JC is going to be here, and he's going to talk about your unique design, your purpose, that we're to cultivate our purpose, that you have gifts and talents that God has deposited, that God has invested in your life, and God expects a return on that investment. We have a biblical responsibility and a responsibility to the people around us to use our gifts and talents, number one, to glorify God, but number two, to make a difference in the people around us. Our gifts and our talents are not just for us. They're given to us and as an investment. They're gifts. They're not earned, they're given. And those gifts are to be used to be a blessing to other people. Turn to Matthew chapter 9. This is the focus of this series that we're reading every single Sunday during this series. In Matthew chapter 9, Jesus says something that is really interesting. It says in verse 35, Matthew's the first book of your New Testament. It says, Jesus continued around to all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every sickness. When he saw the crowds, he felt compassion for them because they were distressed and they're dejected. They are like sheep without a shepherd. And then Jesus said to his disciples, listen to what Jesus says. Remember, he's looking over the crowd. He's seeing all the people that are living with no purpose. They're living dejected. They're living frustrated. And Jesus said to his disciples, the harvest is abundant. In other words, there's a lot of needs around us. There are a lot of opportunities to make a difference, but the workers are few. I have in my Bible written the question, why? If there are so many needs and there are so many opportunities to be used by God and to make a difference in people's lives, why does Jesus say the workers are few? That's a shame. What he's saying is there are so few people that want to make a difference. A lot of people are just wrapped up in themselves and their own lives, and that's all they care about. Jesus said the harvest is plentiful. There's plenty of opportunity to make a difference, but unfortunately the workers are few. And so he says, therefore, pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into the harvest. In other words, we're to pray that God would raise more leaders up that will understand who they are and why God created them, and they'll be willing to step forward and make a difference in the lives of other people. There are 4 principles in this series. They're in your notes. They'll be up on the screens. You can also download our New Hope Eastlake app. But we're going to recite these every Sunday during this series. They're in your notes, so I want you to read them with me. There are 4 principles behind the series, and the first one is this. What we sow, we harvest, right? What we sow, we harvest. That makes sense. What we plant is what's going to grow. Number 2, we cannot grow what we do not sow. Doesn't that make sense? We cannot grow what we do not sow. Number 3, God does not multiply, let me hear you. God does not multiply what we mismanage. God does not multiply what we mismanage. Number 4, we cannot do everything, but we can do something. People say, well, I can't solve world hunger, so I'm just going to ignore it. Or I can't help every homeless person, so I'm not going to help this one. Or I can't adopt every orphan, so I'm just not going to. No. We can't do everything, but we can do something, right? Do not do for one just because you cannot do for all. We can't do everything, but God help us, we can do something. We can do something. You can feel lost in any size of church. Remember, church is not just a place you attend, it's a movement you're a part of. Now listen to this. You will truly never feel connected to a church until you begin to serve in it. Did you hear that? You will truly never feel connected in a church until you begin to serve in it. Attending might help you grow spiritually, but serving allows you to fulfill your God-given purpose. I've been in ministry over 25 years now, and I've heard this so many times. Well, I don't really feel like I'm loved, or I don't really feel noticed, or, I was in the hospital and nobody came to see me, or I was going through this in my life and nobody reached out, or I didn't hear from anybody. And anytime I hear something like that, I always ask 2 questions. Number 1, are you a part of a volunteer team? Do you volunteer? Number 2, are you in a life group? And 99 times out of 100, guess what the answer to both of those questions are? No. No. Now, let me say specifically for just our church, okay? If you do not serve on a volunteer team with a volunteer leader that cares about you, if you're not in a life group where the life group leader cares about you and notices you, how are we going to keep up with over 800 people and more than that call this place their church home? How do we keep up with that amount of people? I have 4 kids. I could hardly keep up with 4 kids when they were younger. How are we going to keep up with the amount of people that come here on a consistent basis? It's really difficult. It's nearly impossible. And so you will never truly feel connected to a church until you begin to serve in that church. We are growing, and it's impossible for us to keep up with every single person. But I do know this, that if you join a volunteer team, you will be noticed. If you are in a life group, you will be noticed. That's why we have those things. Hopefully you're noticed every week. We have greeters and people outside that welcome you and guest services, and I try to meet as many people as I can, but it's difficult. And so being a part of those teams is very valuable. Our ministry leaders are so valuable, and our life group leaders are so valuable because they are an extension of really the care of our church, the pastoral care of our church. We have some incredible leaders here in New Hope. John Maxwell says that everything rises and falls on leadership. And I believe that with all my heart. Leadership at the end of the day is a difference maker when it comes to businesses, when it comes to organizations, and even when it comes to churches. God has designed a leadership structure for his church. And the Bible details exactly what that leadership structure looks like. My goal today in this message is to get you to understand that you can be a leader and to recruit you to have a seat at the table here at New Hope, because we need you. Not only that, the people around you, the people in this community need you. And you will never find a growing, thriving church without an abundance of incredible leaders at any given church. This church has a great history, and I think the best is yet to come, that God still has incredible things and that our future is really bright. Now, there are different kinds of leaders, different expectations for pastors. You know, in some churches, usually smaller churches, the pastor does everything, right? And I've certainly been there, done everything. And in some bigger churches, you might not ever meet the lead pastor. And so there are different kinds of churches. God uses all kinds of churches to reach all kinds of people. You know, there are different styles of leadership, and that's okay. Different isn't wrong, it's just different. There are different giftings, there are different experiences, different talents, there are different callings. I'm what you would call a collaborative type leader. I believe in having as many leaders at the table as possible. We have a very collaborative staff. Kind of my main gifting, I love building teams. I've played sports my whole life, and so teams are important to me, and I love building teams. I love it. You've probably seen, obviously I'm the primary speaker, but we have several people that speak here on a Sunday. Pastor Maija, we're training him up. He's preached once, and he's going to do it some more. Matter of fact, next month he's got number 2 coming. Pastor Jason, obviously Pastor Russ, JC will be here next Sunday. My buddy Robert comes every once in a while. I am big into teams. And one of the things that I'm really good at is that I'm a vision guy. I'm a 30,000 foot, where are we going? What are we doing? Ideas. I have a bunch of ideas, but I'm not a really good detail person. And so I need people around me that our detail people. And you know what's incredible about our staff is I'll throw out these ideas and we'll brainstorm, and everybody has a seat at the table and has ideas and input, and I'll have an idea and the staff will take it and they'll not only implement it, but they'll make it better than what I even imagined. It's incredible. Collaboration is so vital, and I'm a big collaboration guy. And I don't know that I can speak for our staff, but I would think that if you asked any of our staff members here at New Hope, they would say that they feel like they have a voice in what we do, and that their voice is valued and their voice is important. And a matter of fact, a lot of the ideas that we've had and a lot of things that we've done here haven't come from me. They've come from our team, or they've come from some of you. You see, I believe that leadership is not about being the best. It's about helping others be their best. Like I said, we have an incredible staff, and I would much rather elevate someone else and let them get the credit than myself. I don't need the attention. I don't really like the attention, believe it or not. I don't like the attention. Being on stage is very uncomfortable for me. Speaking, I still get nervous every single Sunday. I grew up stuttering really bad. I was in speech therapy all the way through high school. I would have never dreamed that God would call me to do something like this. And there's no way that I could be in ministry this long without God's strength and God's power in my life. There is no way. There is no chance. Believe it or not, in a lot of ways, I'm pretty introverted. And I don't like being around a lot of big crowds. I'd much rather be kind of with my family or with a few friends. And so we need more leaders at the table that don't mind being out front, that don't mind, having a voice and being at the table. It's important. The Bible gives us this model for church structure. And you will not find a growing church where one person or a handful of people are doing everything. Usually thriving, growing churches have a team of leaders that do incredible things. Turn to the book of Ephesians. Turn to the book of Ephesians. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, and then you get to the book of Ephesians. In Ephesians chapter 4, the Bible gives us the structure, the leadership structure for a church, beginning in verse 11. Are you in Ephesians? You got it? Okay, verse 11 says, and he himself, that's the Lord, right? That's God. He himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, and some teachers. So God calls leaders or the offices of the church. He calls leaders and pastors and evangelists. And this is their responsibility, to equip the saints for the work of the ministry, to build up the body of Christ until we all reach the unity in the faith, in the knowledge of God's Son, growing into maturity with a stature measured by Christ's fullness. Then we'll no longer be little children tossed by the waves and blown around by every wind of teaching, by human cunning and cleverness in the techniques of deceit. In other words, we're not going to fall for a lot of the garbage that goes around and cults and all of that stuff. But speaking the truth in love, let us grow into in every way into him who is the head, Christ. From him, the whole body is fitted and knitted together by every supporting ligament, promotes the growth of the body for the building itself up in love by the proper working of each individual part. The Bible equates the church as a body, right? Our bodies have different function and different body parts. And Paul even has this comical kind of thing, verses where he's like, how can the hand say to the arm, I have no need for you? Or how can the eye say to the toe that I don't need you? They're all essential. They're all important. Now, in your notes, and it'll be up on the screens, we put this leadership structure into like a graph. So this is where it starts, right? God. God calls and appoints leaders, right? One of those leaders, obviously, is me. And so God calls and appoints leaders, apostles, evangelists, leaders, teachers, right? We see the church worldwide where God calls certain people to have these offices or these callings on their life. This comes from God. So God calls and God appoints these leaders, and they serve at God's discretion, by the way. And these leaders are to what? Equip. This word equip in the Greek is a medical term. And it has the idea of setting a bone into place or realigning a bone that has been broken. And so the idea is to get back aligned. The idea is wholeness or completeness, right? So the leaders, so me, our staff, our job is to equip, to align people to bring completeness and wholeness, to equip who? Saints. And before you think, well, I don't know, Mother Teresa? Like, who are they talking about? Well, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 2, the Bible is talking about you. Did you know you're a saint? If you have said yes to Jesus, you are a saint. Did you know that? Look at the person next to you, and I know you don't want to do this, and say, you are a saint. Come on. Saint Jesse. Saint Matt. Saint Kenny, my brother's here today. Listen, the word saint just simply means appointed ones or called out ones. The word is used interchangeably with holy, so to be set apart, to be set aside for specific use. So when you say yes to Jesus, when you give your life to Jesus, when you trust in Jesus, you are a saint. So the Bible says God calls and appoints leaders. Those leaders are to equip who? The saints, you, to what? Do what? The work of the ministry. You have a ministry. You do. And my job and our staff's job is to equip and train you to fulfill God's calling in your life. And then he gives the results. When the leaders develop the people to do the work of the ministry, what happens is the church is doctrinally sound, the church is growing, the church is healthy, and the church is maturing. You see, that is God's design for the church. God's design for the church. We see this in the early church all the way back in the book of Acts, the first church, the beginning of the church, where the church was growing and the apostles couldn't take care of all the needs of the growing congregation. And so they appointed deacons or deaconesses. How many of you ever heard that term? Deacon, right? The word deacon just means a servant, right? Like a volunteer, servants. And they appointed them to take care of the needs of the people. Specifically in that case, it was the widows, thank you, the widows. And there were other needs as well. And so our job is to equip the saints to do the work of the ministry. Now, New Hope will never go to the next level if only a few people are doing everything. Now, fortunately, we have incredible teams that do so many things. I look at a lot of your faces, and I know so many of you do so much here at New Hope, and I'm so grateful. And we're going to introduce a couple of people here at the end of service that do some incredible things as well. There's a few things we put in your notes. Number one, every Christian has a mission. When you said yes to Jesus, you said yes to the mission of Jesus. And Jesus' mission is defined in Matthew chapter 28, verse 18, where Jesus said, "Go into all the world and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." You don't have to do it alone. He says, "I am with you always, even to the end of the age." And so our job, Your mission, my mission, is to make disciples. If we're not making disciples, if we're not making a difference, if we're not sharing faith, if we're not sharing our gifts with others, then we are not fulfilling Jesus' mission. Because when we said yes to Jesus, we said yes to his mission. Number two, the church is not just a place you attend, it's a movement you're a part of. The church is a body, not just a place. Number three, Christianity is not a spectator sport. Christianity is not a spectator sport. If you've ever played sports and you sat on the bench the entire game, you probably hated it. At least if you're competitive. And so many of you've said yes to Jesus, but for whatever reason, you're just sitting in the stands watching everybody else do the work of the ministry. But when you said yes to Jesus, you have a mission. You have a ministry. Christianity is not a spectator sport. We are not saved to sit on the bench. We are saved to make a difference. And I'm challenging you today that if you've been sitting on the sidelines, it is time to get off of your I'll let you fill in the blank and join the party. And join the party. Just this week, do you know how many people I saw up here doing some incredible things? Just this week, there were people up here doing incredible things at the church. Leo Tolentino, where's he at? Leo's here. He was up this week early helping Jesse do landscaping stuff this week. Laura Cisco comes and volunteers and helps clean the church. Mark Nelson and Dante Ralph help install the shades out on the playground. Dana Benevento, Gail Kavanaugh, Randy Kavanaugh, Karen helped Pastor Jason load up all the food and the clothes that you so generously donated to our partner church in Mount Hope, City Life Church, that makes a difference with those that need food and clothing. They helped load all of that stuff up that you donated, and they took it over to Mount Hope, over there to City Life Church, and helped put everything up. What a blessing that was. Mark Smith was up here all week, and Tori Dickinson, Miss Janie, and several others were helping with volleyball camp. There's so much going on. And then we had people through VBS and through some of the other camps that we had this last month, volunteering and serving. Just absolutely incredible. It always amazes me to see so many people that are willing to be a blessing to other people. Why? Because Christianity is not a spectator sport. Number four, I can't do everything, but I can do something. Right? I can't do everything, but I can do something. We all have different passions. We all have different abilities. Paul describes it as different body parts. We're all needed. So ask yourself two questions. Number one, what am I passionate about? God put that passion there for a reason. And number two, what am I good at? Right? What am I good at? Your gift is typically something that comes easy to you, but is hard for most. JC will talk more about that next Sunday. But serving and using our gifts not only is a blessing to others, but it helps us grow and mature. Has anybody here ever driven a tractor? Come on, anybody ever driven a tractor? I know you have. So when I was a youth pastor in the Midwest in Oklahoma, every church out there has like 30 acres of land, right? And when I was a youth pastor, my pastor used to mow the church property, not lawn, it's a property. And, I was like, no, you're not doing that. Like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, 23 years old, 24 years old, whatever. And so I'm like, I'll mow the church lawn. And so every Friday, I would mow the church property, right? I would put my they didn't have earbuds back then, my headphones with my, my cassette. What's that thing called? What was that thing called? The Walkman. And I would listen to whatever I listened to at the time, and I would mow the church property. We had this old, nasty tractor, literally a tractor, rusty, and that thing would not start unless you did it like in a certain sequence. You had to pull the clutch, or you had to pull the choke, and then you had to do this dial, and then turn this dial, and then hopefully like hit it a couple times, and it'd start, right? And behind that thing was a big brush hog. I don't know if you know what a brush hog is, but it's like a big mower. And I would mow the church property every Friday, right? Now, I had this crazy idea of like, let's create a tractor club here at New Hope. Now, you know the difference between a tractor and a trailer, right? Both are needed. Tractors are out front. Tractors pull. Tractors take territory. Tractors lead the way. Trailers get pulled. Trailers have a very valuable part, right? So tractors are leaders. Trailers are more managers. I want to talk to the tractors this morning. We are restructuring a lot of what we do here at New Hope, and we are creating a tractor club. Now, what we've done up until this point is we have our lead team staff, and then we have our all staff. And once a month, we have an all staff meeting. And it's usually just paid staff. Between our preschool and our after school programs and all that, we have about 40 people that are on staff here, part-time, full-time, all that, with all of our, sports and after school program, preschool, church staff, all of that. We are creating a tractor club. And instead of meeting once a month, we are going to meet once a quarter. And we are including everybody that leads a department or a ministry, even volunteers. We're including them as a part of our staff. Now today, I'm looking for people to join the tractor club. I'm looking for leaders. Next week, we'll talk more about the manager side of things. I need leaders. I need more people that are out front. I need more people that have this giftedness of leadership. We need more tractors here at the table. You might not have time to be a tractor, but you do. You do. In first service, I interviewed a couple who lead our safety team that both work in law enforcement, have very stressful jobs, very long hours, and they volunteer up here. So it is incredible the amount of work that they do here at New Hope. So why should I lead at New Hope? Well, one, we value collaboration. Two, we can never have enough leaders. Three, your gifts and your experiences are valuable and needed. And four, there's a place for you. I know that there are so many leaders that we have sitting in this room right now, and you're just waiting to be ignited. Come and join our team. Join our team. We have another piece of paper that you received when you walked in. Our staff put this together. I asked them, where do we need tractors? Where do we need leaders? And we came up with 30 staff positions here at New Hope. There's a QR code. There's a QR code on this paper. If you go to our website or scan this QR code, one, there's an application. Just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. We guard our culture. And there's certain types of people that we are looking for. We are going to do an application process, an interview process. We would love for you to have a seat at the table. There are 30 ministries that we need tractors in. 30 that we need leaders in. And if you go to our website or scan that QR code, if you go under ministries and you go under the job section, there are job descriptions for every one of these. Fill out an application, send it in, and we will get back with you. We are looking for tractors. We are looking for more leaders that will be a part of our staff, and you'll be invited to our once a quarter all staff meeting, our Christmas parties, all that cool stuff that we do as a staff. All right, as we wrap up, I have a couple of people that are going to come up on stage with me. Where are they? Nick and Cynthia, come on up, you guys. So this is Nick Delgado, and this is Cynthia Ambrose. And like I said, in first service, I interviewed Ted and Dana Collins, who run our safety team. They do an incredible job. Nick and Cynthia, so Cynthia leads our women's ministry. And Nick, come on over here, you guys, so we're in the camera. I messed up first service. And Nick leads our prison ministry. Now, kind of an interesting thing. Nick came to me maybe 2 years ago or so, and said, Pastor Rick, I'm feeling like God wants me to start a prison ministry. And so I had a contact that does a lot of work in the prison ministry and connected him with Nick, and the prison ministry has taken off. It is Nick is doing an incredible job. Like, you're doing an amazing job. You built a team, and you've done amazing at our prison ministry. Tell us what you're doing right now, and you're going to Donovan, right? But you're also going to some other places. Tell us why do you do what you do, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the prison ministry.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. I can't really explain it outside of it was a calling. It came to me just, I did the SHAPE class here at New Hope about 3 years ago, and I told Pastor Russ what I wanted to do, and he was like, "Great, we don't do that here." And I was like, "Whoa, hold on." But it's amazing to go into the prison and to see there's some guys that are in there that are not coming out of there. And they have a joy that I can't even explain. They have a love for Christ that is just beyond my own understanding. And I love to be in there and to share time with those guys, to be able to pray with them and to talk with them. I mean, I love it. It's just so amazing. But outside of that, prison ministry is so much more than just going into the prison.
Yeah.
We help the children that are out here through our Angel Tree projects.
Yes.
We did it last Christmas was the first time we did Angel Tree, which was amazing. We're going to do it again this year. We're going to bump up the numbers a little bit. And then
Christmas cards.
Christmas cards. We actually partner with other churches and other ministries outside, all within San Diego, to learn what they're doing and to kind of collaborate, just kind of like what you were talking about. And it's super amazing.
When did you start this prison ministry? Remind me. Was it like 2 years ago?
It was in May of 22 when I came here, and a couple months later, you and me sat down and spoke.
Okay, and now how many people are on your team now?
So we have...
It's not easy to get...
we have a list.
You don't just go in the prison. There's a whole process. But how many people are on your team right now?
I'd say we have a listing of about 42 to 45 people.
Wow.
And right now, I say our core is about 15 to 20 people.
That is amazing, Nick. That is unreal. And it all started in my office. Pastor Rick, I feel... Now, when you came to me, were you bored? Were you like retired? You're a multimillionaire. You have nothing else to do?
No, but
you have kids. You have a busy life.
Yes.
You work, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a full-time employee. I was a Navy reservist for the last 8 years. I retired in 22. I came here, and I met you guys, and you guys became my home.
And you play in the band.
Yeah.
You play in the band, and you do this prison minute. Just incredible, like just unbelievable. Nick's a tractor. He is a tractor, man. You've done an incredible job. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, brother.
Done a great job. Cynthia, you have taken charge of our women's ministry. Wow, and you always have cool little stuff. You guys got stuff set up out there, and I'm not invited, but whatever. But so when did you take over the women's ministry? And tell us a little bit about why you're doing it. Like, why do you do it?
I've been coming to New Hope for a year, and I was seeking fellowship for women, and the women's ministry was there, but they needed a leader.
Yes,
and I
a tractor.
Prayed, yes,
we needed a tractor.
Yes, and I just prayed, and I just had God telling me, go for it. Don't get me wrong, I was afraid. I'm like, I can't be a leader, I can't be doing that, but I just did it afraid for God, and He's leading me to grow the women's ministry, to edify women, and I'm doing this because I have a heart for women, just to let them know that as women, we need to rise up and help other women, edify each other, loving each other, just have that fellowship that sometimes that we need.
Well, you're doing a great job. I see all of the events. You guys have like a hiking group.
Yes.
A hiking group thing.
July 26th is our hiking event, the next one. August 16th, we do have our first tea party, and I hope all the women join
tea party.
us. A tea party. We
I
can
love
have
tea.
The little candies, the little scones, and it's going to be great. So I hope every woman join us so we can grow this women's ministry to a whole ever other level.
Well, you guys are doing an incredible job at what you do. You're two tractors, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you for taking the time and your resources and your gifts to be a blessing to other people and to this community. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Just give it to Nick. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Listen, I can't do everything, but I can do something, right? And there are countless people like that do incredible things. And so I just want to challenge you. Why are you sitting on the sidelines? Why? We have 30 positions that we need tractors for. Pray about it and then sign up. And let's make a massive difference in this community and in the lives of people that God has entrusted with us. Father, thank you so much for today. I am so grateful for each person here. And I pray, Lord, that each person realizes that they're created for a purpose. Nobody's here by accident. You have a plan and a purpose for each of us. And God, there may be some people here that they've never realized that before. They've never understood that they're unique and they're important and that they're valuable. They're so valuable that you died on a cross for their sins. And God, if there are people that they never realize like how valuable they are to you and that they do have a purpose, I pray that right now they would just accept that and just believe that. Say, God, I'm important. You've gifted me to make a difference. And then God, there are other people that may understand that, but for whatever reason, they're just sitting in the stands and they're just watching. But when we said yes to Jesus, we said yes to your mission. And God, I pray that you would motivate and encourage and challenge and call people to the incredible privilege and gift of ministry. And God, I pray that as you bring more people to the table here at New Hope, more leaders, I pray that you'd help us fulfill the very reason why you put us here in this community. In Jesus' name, amen. Would you stand up with me? God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Sign up for something. Next week, you're going to have more opportunities as well if you really don't want to lead a ministry. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next Sunday.